This is Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, a nation once considered among the most stable democratic states in Africa. But after a disputed election in December 2007, ethnic violence tore the country apart. Organized gangs killed over 1,000 people, and thousands more were internally displaced.
None of the individuals identified as the sponsors of political violence actually had to face even the shame of having done what they did. They are still members of the establishment and they are ready to do it again.
Now, 18 months after the failed election, Kenyans are at odds with a coalition government that has struggled to deliver concrete reforms.
The ballot has failed to transform the lives of the people. When people cast their ballot and now they start actually regretting why they voted, then it tells you that our democracy has fallen short of something very essential.
The belief that the system actually delivers fair results is absolutely central to its stability. It's an illustration of the population's capacity to, in fact, remove their leaders when they don't trust them anymore.
Many Kenyans are dissatisfied with the ruling coalition, but the government insists it is moving forward with constitutional reform.
We managed to dismantle the former electoral commission and set up a new one in its place. We managed to put up a team to spearhead the process of constitutional review.
We want to see a democracy that will bring food on somebody else's table. We want to see a democracy that will make people to go and get work. If democracy cannot sustain people's lives, then we have no business still start shouting democracy to the top of our voice or to the top of our lungs.
This is the country where people are struggling and they hardly see any hope into what the political class is doing and what I would call the Nairobi bubble. Between parliament and the ministries, the Nairobi Stock Exchange and the big banks, do they care really about the country at a time where it is deeply in crisis? It doesn't look like that.
On the semi-arid Laikipia Plateau in central Kenya, unemployment abounds. Tension between farmers and pastoralists has grown as water becomes increasingly scarce. Most of the water is diverted upstream to irrigate farms, which leaves a dwindling supply for Laikipia's people and their cattle.
Loss of natural resources puts people under extreme pressure, and people will go to extreme lengths in order to get those fundamentally important natural resources.
Ndio maji imekuwa kidogo, lakini hajaikuona maji makatika namna hiyo. Lakini siku hizi amekauka, maua hakuna, hata samaki na toka kila mtu na shika na mkono. Sinalia maji sana Ngaringiru.
This year, for the first time ever, for the first time in history, the big Iwaso-Nyiro River actually dried up.
Sisi nasema kama maji tutakatika namna hiyo, utaenda mahali mpaka mahali maji natukia panda mo Kenya. Hata kama serikali nakataza sisi takufa. Hakuna namna. Najua rafiki hawezi chakua pita bure. Kama kiangazi kilali tapata wewe, lazima kama wewe kuna chakula mitakuja kutafuta.
The implications in our situation are quite serious because we are now mixing people whose way of life and whose ethnicity are different, and because of the part of the world that we live in, the Horn of Africa, almost every pastoralist will have an automatic weapon.
Wakubwa yetu hata anakongana, sijui atasaidia sisi. Nao wameshiba. Na mimi ndio huyu sasa mimi nafanya kazi hapa, hata mshahara toshi. Mimi hawezi kaa namna hiyo.
Kibera is an informal settlement of a population of about 1 million people. It is in the southern side of Nairobi. Kibera is characterized by gross violation of human rights, ranging from right to housing, right to water, right to basic need like food, clothing. 2007, when Kenya was experiencing the post-election violence, you saw Kibera was actually worst hit. It was worst hit because of the idleness of the youth. If you look at the biggest population, who are the youths, who do not also have employment, it is telling you that the youths are a time bomb. In case of any trigger, you will see even people will come out in big numbers, people will come out in large numbers. It will degenerate into a revolutionary movement that can even overthrow the government. They only need somebody who can lead them, then it will explode.
During her visit to Kenya, US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will call upon Kenya's leadership to summon an independent tribunal to investigate the post-election violence of last year. Clinton's message will echo Washington's demand that Kenya stop corruption, forge a new constitution, and regain its status as a stable ally in the Horn of Africa.